Hello. Damn. Hello, foolish fools. My name is Joseph Rothschild, a.k.a. MonoBlueTron, and I will be your host tonight. Bodity could not make it. He was too busy eating. But as you all know, I subsist on the tears of lesser Trinity players, and therefore don't require sustenance. Let's check and make sure that everything's working. And you know what? Let's check the live dashboard as well. Starting Stream Health Yellow. Oh, great. Well, that's exactly what I want to see. So, for those of you that don't know, this is the third place match between the two losers of the format. Punk Rock Lee, who lost to Arcane Grove in semifinals, and Sinos Repus, who lost to me in semifinals. They're now duking it out for third place. Punk Rock Lee is on Pendulums, which you wouldn't know by seeing his opener. And Sino is on, God, what do I even call it? Rank 4 hero cards. You know what I mean. Sino's playing hero and like a bunch of spirals and thinking that we're all going to just forget the crimes he's committed against deck building kind just because he slaps a couple of rank 4s together. So Punk Rock Lee's deck, of course, is Pendulum. Pendulum is a very powerful strategy that for some reason no one but he is playing. I think the reason is that it's very difficult and requires a very particular deck list. He's playing a couple of things that make almost no sense. Those are Thunder Dragon and Bayo Baboon, and their purpose in the deck has very little to do with like the linear game plan of the deck, and everything to do with the fact that Pendulum, as hilarious as it sounds, routinely tends to run out of resources. And as you know, Thunder Dragon is a +1. Bayo Bob smooths out draws. It's a +1 as well with so many metal foes routinely. A lot of the time doing something like making a Zen Mains and fixing your hand, or being able to Pendulum summon 2 Thunder Dragons and pressure that way without having to commit potentially a bunch of Pendulum monsters into an oncoming Solemn Warning is really critical to improving your win rate, much more than something like, say, just like playing more Pendulum guys. In fact, Punk is basically tapped out on Pendulum guys. He's playing almost every single good one, and a couple of bad ones as well. I think the last bad remaining card in his deck is Perform Pal YGOPRodeck Golem. So you can see that Punk has gone into Wee Witch's Apprentice, because these two special summon at the same time. They only count as one summon. Wee Witch is format-destroying Ultra Threat, which is constantly at risk of being banned for one reason or another, despite the fact that it does almost literally nothing. Now, Sino's game plan is decidedly more simple. It's very interesting because while we classify it as a hero deck, it's not something like Sub-Zero Arcs OTK heroes or Treetop Duelists 60 card heroes. It's a very slender hero package. Now, it's about 6 cards deep, which doesn't sound slender. Oh, my pizza's here. Hey. It's me, Bob Pizza, inventor of pizza. I've ordered a pizza, my namesake creation. And I have returned. This is what you came for, is it not? You came for scintillating... Oh, God.
So what kind of pizza do you have?
I have mushroom pizza, and I'm recording.
Are you recording a mushroom pizza?
Well, no, but it might feature.
So if I handed you $1,
Oh, my goodness. Anyway. Let's see if anything else can possibly go wrong. Maybe actually tell people you are streaming. Ha! Pathetic. Why would I ever do that? People will know. Let me check the live dashboard and see people are already clamoring for it. Let me just go into the Discord. I almost linked Dueling Book. Oh, I don't know. Is there a link or something I can send them? I'll just say streaming on the Trinity Yugioh channel. Someone link. Alright, so where were we? Talking about hero. So, as I said, Sino's hero package is particularly slender. I don't even know if he's playing a mask change, to be honest. I'm sure that he is not. So, the interesting portion of Sino's deck is that what you're seeing right now is almost every hero in the deck. The normal setup plays for Sino involve turn 1 doing something like binning Shadow Mist, either through Foolish Burial or Vion or some sort of garbage like that. And then subsequently adding a copy of Stratos to hand. The next turn, you normal summon Stratos. Stratos adds Decider. You normal summon Decider. Decider adds back Stratos. You normal summon Stratos and you add Honesty Neos, which is in effect a removal spell. Basically, the purpose of the entire engine is just to recycle the cards that you were already using. It doesn't actually do anything particularly proactive, but it demands a response. And as soon as your opponent commits enough to responding to it, you can just grab Honesty Neos and edge him out. Sinos, unfortunately, is not playing Cowboy, otherwise he would have won right there. Instead, he's just pushing for as much as possible while Punk is kind of down in the dumps. Unfortunately for Sino, Punk is now able to perform Pendulum Summon, most likely. I would be shocked if those two Bayo Baboons didn't smooth out the draws. A Pendulum Summon would be, oh my god, they put the garlic sauce on top of the pizza. Like, the actual physical garlic sauce thing is on the pizza, so when I picked it up, like, marinara sauce stuck to it and cheese. This is disgusting. But, of course, I did order 10 minutes before they closed, so I'm disgusting. Social eating. Punk's deep in the tank on this one, but it's unlikely he's not going to perform a radical Pendulum Summon. I don't think he really has enough time to do something like play around Solemn Warning, and we'll just have to die immediately if it doesn't work out. If he had summons to burn, maybe something could happen, but he doesn't, so it can't. Setting scales are fine. That's good news. I think the thing that Punk is most afraid of is a heavy Storm Duster. Although it's also very possible that he's baiting it. You'll notice that Sky Iris protects Magicians and Odd Eyes, and having said that, he's set 2 scales that aren't Magicians or Odd Eyes. Ba ba ba. So here's the Pendulum Summon. We've got 2 Odd Eyes monsters and a Bayo Baboon, which we already knew about. Putting the Bayo Baboon in... and there it is. Like I said, I don't think he really had the flexibility to be able to play around that. That is back-breaking and probably game-ending. Foucault's Cannon can make quick work of this premature burial. So provided he's got, like, something to do, maybe he could make something happen. If that last card is, like, a monster with 2,000 attack... an Inspector Border or a Megalosaurus X or something, which of course it can't be. He maybe could sit on it, but I don't know, seems unlikely. And there it is, the year is 2018 and Solemn Warning still wins games in this format. This pizza is terrible. Let's see what our lovely viewers have to say about this travesty. Nothing. None of you have said a thing. I will never forgive you. Oh, thanks for the link, Alpha. That saves some time. So, let's talk a little bit about sideboarding. What could they possibly be sideboarding? Well, unfortunately for Punk, dropping game 1 is huge because the hate for Pendulum is unbelievable. They could not have printed more effective hate for this strategy. And so he's going to have to chew through, like, heavy Storm Dusters, which are usually in the main, to be fair, Pendulum Storm, there's a couple of, like, Pendulum-specific pseudo Floodgates. I mean, Lord Almighty, it's going to be hard for him to pick this one up. Sangan and Bismugear are the cards that have come out. I don't know why they're not loading. Bismugear is maybe the best card in the deck. Punk affectionately refers to it as his wife, which is interesting because I think that Bismugear is less of the person and more of a melded consciousness between the person and the car, which I'm not going to knock anything. Now, this is the most value play I've ever seen. What a greedy son of a gun. This man has special summoned, or he has searched Witch of the Black Forest with Sangan. Now, I want you to think of one thing greedier than that. I don't think it's possible. I could not possibly think of a greedier play than searching Witch with Sangan. Punk's going to go to end phase with a copy of Odd Eyes Pendulum, and his usual get off of this is purple. Let's see what he gets here. This will give us some insight into the hand. There's purple. Yep, as expected. Purple Poison Magician is kind of the last remnant of the extremely powerful Magician engine in Pendulum. Because Pendulum is so flexible and so powerful, almost all the Magician cards were either banned or made useless by different bans. Purple Poison Magician is the only one, I think, remaining at Unlimited that is worth a damn. Resolving Spyral Resort is unfortunate. We didn't see this at all last game, but the other play that Sino has available is the Spyral one. And Spirals are no joke. They're extremely powerful. And it looks like he's hit this copy of Counter with Tough. That's gotta hurt. That's tough, I guess you could say. The Spirals are extremely powerful against Pendulum in particular, because of course Super Agent can, as it is right now, pop a rare Metal Foes Bismugear or a set back row that's intended to beat Sino's deck. Metal Foes Combination was the other one. That's great news. And then of course you can go into a Tornado Dragon, pop the scale, and keep him off a scale for next turn as well. There's just so many options for this engine. I mean, when the best case scenario for Punk is he goes into Double Helix and starts popping off next turn, that's really not a position you want to be in. So Punk is activating the effect of combination, of course adding a copy of a Metal Foes card to his hand. I think we're likely to see a high scale. The idea is he'll use the high scale to pop Bismugear, and then set Purple Poison. A low scale gives him flexibility to use Purple Poison, but it also neglects to understand what Sino's about to go into. Oh, and it looks like the ad has already occurred, and I just missed it. See if chat is any help. No, they're too far behind. I said something, the stream delay is just massive. You're making me crave pizza. It's fantastic. It's actually quite good. We had to make it big because we had some suspicious people at one point stream sniping their own match. Oh, you can @ Sino. Sino is the person who did that. Let's see how the health of the stream is doing. Oh, pretty good. We thought that Sino was sniping at one point. Because he responded to a question Bodity asked in the conversation. Now think about it this way. Is Sino taking a long time to think because he doesn't know what rank 4 to go into? Or is he taking a long time to think because he's in the other tab watching the replay live? Foolish Burial. I think we're likely to see a Mist here and a Stratos added to hand. Yep. And Stratos, of course, is an extremely powerful follow-up move. From here, Sino can do something I mean, as harmless as going to double helix and then just pass it back. It's possible he just hits end turn here, which I think is a grave mistake, unless I missed him going to summon limit. Huh. Potentially I did. That doesn't seem good to me. I can't imagine not wanting to go into, like, a Tornado Dragon or something. I mean, if there's a deck that can just attack over 1900 attack guys, it's Punks. And if there's a deck that can chew through a couple of set spells and traps at the same time, once again, it's Punks. That's a fantastic find. It's going to prompt removal if it exists, because the card is just a house and prevents anyone from interacting with scales. So Bismugear's effect, importantly, does not activate until the end phase. Like, it activates now, but it doesn't add until the end phase, so we'll have to wait a little bit to get a Metal Foe. But because Combination is in the graveyard, we can of course now banish that to add Bismugear back to our hand, should we need another scale. It looks though like Punk is completely happy to just set these scales. Can we actually do that, or does it have to be a normal one? It doesn't. Wow. So we know one of the cards in hand is a copy of Witch of the Black Forest. The other is a Metal Foe monster that I did not see. I've got another warning in my back row, by the way. He'd better not. That would literally just end the game, probably. It's possible. It'd be different if Tough didn't pop a monster and still be able to attack. That would be completely different. But, of course, it can. Great design, Konami. We are held hostage in a format not by Double Helix, but by one of the backup cards? I gotta say, although it has felt pretty swingy, oh, he's just Pendulum summoning one. Oh, wow. What a silly Billy. Oh, no, he's going for two. I like that. I think that makes him dead to almost any removal spell. Oh, 3 might be a bit much, but it's likely that if he's allowing the summon, one of those set cards is like a Mirror Force. And, like, this lines up pretty well against a Mirror Force. Unless you switch this person to attack position, in which case you are going to immediately die if you just go to battle phase. Interesting. So importantly, Witch of the Black Forest can trigger purple poison. That I think is going to be used to remove Resort from the field. And the rest of the board is pretty easy to clean up. So let's see if it's a Mirror Force. Worst case scenario, we can trigger the effect of Arc Pendulum, but that's a really, really worst case scenario. Sino says Mirror Force and then takes 1200. Yeah, well, looks like we are just chewing through the entire board here. Now, interestingly, I don't know if I would have done it like this. Let's see if he's going to activate the effect of purple. No, he's not. Okay, I don't know. I think I probably would have done so. Leaving Spyral Resort on the field, even for a turn, just feels really, really powerful. I don't know. Like, what's the best case scenario here? Spyral Resort adds, like, a drone to hand? That's pretty strong. Oh, no way. Are we going to go into a Nightmare Phoenix or some kind of nonsense? Is that how desperate we are to get rid of this? Nope, just a Wee Witch's Apprentice. Now, of course, we'll trigger Witch, and there's the Called by the Grave. Well, that's pretty good. Call me crazy, I don't think we've performed our normal summon. So, you know, hypothetically, we could do that. Let's see if Punk remembers the effect of Bismugear. Ah, he did not. Yikes. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. That extra material is going to come in very handy. Okay, this top deck was dumb. Let's see what it is. Is it a Lightning Vortex? Is it a Twin Twister? What could be the worst possible top deck? Pendulum Storm? I don't know. Monster Reborn? Oh, you'll be fine, he says. I don't know how true that is. Gotta think up a new plan instead. Likely Sino is reading the cards on the field and recognizing that purple poison can trigger off of a Wee Witch battle. Well, knowing that Sino now has to think, let's check the dash. Oh, for sure, I'm not knocking it. Hit me with those double O's. A master plan, if you will. Ugh. Resort effect, of course. Oh man, I really can't stress this. Do not like letting that card survive. I mean, I certainly come from a different perspective because the decks I play immediately lose to a card that 2-for-1s. But like, Resort so often is the entire game plan. Like, best case scenario here is he gets Last Resort, and Last Resort's dumb. And as expected, there's Drone. Oh, I forgot Bismu in the end phase. There it is. Oh! Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Cheater! 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 Is the search mandatory? It is not. Oh no, activating the effect allows it to happen. Yeah, I mean, you can't activate the effect and then fail to search, I assume. Kind of lucked out on this one, punk. That was an interesting choice. I think the better choice would have been not activating in the end phase, waiting for Sino to normal summon the drone, use the drone effect, and then recognize that Bismu's in there, add a Volflame to hand, and shuffle your deck so they don't know the top card. Oh, he's in... Sino also is right now in log, looking for the card that he added. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14. Am I playing one negate in the board? That sounds so bad. Ugh. I mean, inversely, I'm cutting these spell pierces because they're terrible. Is there a world in which spatial contortion is better than dismember? I don't think so. So there is the drone, and from here we're going to have to commit war crimes. Sorry, I'm trying not to get political, but you all know that is my MO. Alright, so now we'll go into Link Haribo. Ooh, that's a... Unless he's got something else, that's an exceptionally weak turn. Drone effect. So drone can banish itself and another Spyral from the graveyard to special summon a Spyral super agent. Or return it to the hand, is it? Oh, wow, that's even better. Actually, it's exactly the same. Yeah. So, of course, now Sino knows the top card of the deck. Oh, God, what a great draw. And we'll be special summoning this copy of Super Agent, likely popping the Sky Iris. I think it's the only target. Yeah. But that's also 3 summons. So, I mean, can't. Sky Iris. Well, you can target the Sky Iris. This is just a classic Trinity battle. You see these a lot. 2 players who refuse to read each other's field spells. Perp is going for it. I hope he uses Perp to pop Resort. And tell me how that's markedly different than the line where you just use Perp on the Witch of the Black Forest effect, right? Like, then you pop Resort, he doesn't get to add Drone, you don't have to deal with Super Agent at all. I don't know, I don't get it. So this is great news for Punk. Of course, Bismugear is a high scale, But now that he has Gold Driver in the extra deck as well, he can easily do exactly this. Banish, counter in order to get Gold Driver to hand, set scales, and then pop off. With 2 zones open, he can easily bring back Purple Poison Magician and Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, which are the 2 scariest cards in the entire universe. Putting Perp in attack means that he can, I think, win the game here? Let me think. 19, this is an Earth? Oh god, it's a Dark. 19 and 3k is enough, right? So as long as this set card is absolutely nothing, it'll happen. Let's see if we get one from hand as well. Oh, we do. He is going for the Volflame. You know what I'd actually like to see is if these two became a Nightmare Phoenix and tried to pop this set card. But of course, in Spyral specifically, you always run the risk of that set card being the Reborn spell. Oh. And it looks like he's just going for it, and that's going to be game 2. Okay, so we've got a set on our hands. That was an exceptionally fast game 1. But now we've got to think. And also, I've got to think. So here's my board for MonoBlueTron right now. Is Crucible of Worlds, Triple Spell Pierce, Double Spreading Seas. I'd like to change those ratios, but I can't find my 3rd Spreading Sea. I thought I had 4. Pithing Needle, Relic of Progenitus, 3 Relic. I know it's a Trinket Mage target, but I just want to draw it. And then 4 Dismember. I think I want to put in, like, Spatial Contortions, but I'm trying to think of a matchup outside of, like, Burn, where I'd want to see Spatial Contortion over Dismember. Like, I just don't think any deck is going to assemble a reasonable enough clock, and the ones that do are going to do so with guys that can't get bolted. Like, I want to be able to stop... like, Drakes and shit. Oh, right, Yu-Gi-Oh! So now we've got the classic Trinity opener. You may have seen this a couple of times, and you're likely to see so a couple more. That's Tour Guide to the Underworld to get Sangan in order to get Wee Witch's Apprentice. Wee Witch's Apprentice, of course, is going to add Sangan or TGU back to hand. Most likely Sangan, because I don't think Punk is on any other targets. He might be on an Eccentric. No, he's almost definitely on an Eccentric. And then the Sangan will get probably Perp, or if last game is to be any inclination, Witch of the Black Forest. Timebreaker Magician. Now, this is my favorite card in Punk's list. Timebreaker Magician prevents your Pendulum monsters from being destroyed by opponents' card effects, which is basically the only way you're going to wipe a board of about 5 vanilla 2400 attack stinkers. This is unfortunate. This is one of the better cards that Sino can open with. It's going to send a Mist, and then we will get the loop going. Mist adds Stratos, Stratos adds Decider, Decider adds Stratos, Stratos adds, I don't know, Honesty Neos. Of course, the payoff to lines that begin with Vion instead of Armageddon Knight is that some point in the eventual future you'll amass enough stuff to polymerization into a Vision Hero Trinity, and then use the effect of Honesty Neos to just blow your opponent out from 8,000. This, of course, prevents that from happening, provided he hasn't drawn the polymerization. But even if he is, I think he's okay. I'm interested to know what this set card is. This is very interesting. I don't know how much I like it, but of course you can't let the Pendulum deck untap with 2 zones open, so I understand. I just really hate it. So knowing that there's not going to be any impressive turn 1 setups out of Sino, I think the thing that Punk is most scared about here is Heavy Storm Duster. We'll see how much he sets. Yeah, that's okay. Yep, that's a frightening amount of cards. Alright, let's see if we can make it happen. So Sky Iris would be fantastic here. Bayo Baboon is similarly good. It can sculpt hands, so he'll do that. Let's check out the dash. I'm pretty sure the search has to happen if the activation goes off. Yeah, it's all one effect. It activates, and then at end step it happens. I hate that Yu-Gi-Oh does that. Why would you ever print a card like that? That requires you to keep track of something that you literally can't miss, and then, like, creates game states like that. Why can't it just say, in the end phase, if this card was destroyed this turn, activate this effect. Because then an effect is activating the face-up extra deck, and that's illegal. Okay, I have immediately resolved my own question. Now, who said that Punk has Eccentric? It was me. Eccentric is going to, I think, blind MST here, right? Yeah. Let's see what we hit. Best case scenario is Heavy Dust Storm. Let's see it. Which was the target? Oh, he's thinking. Okay. So Spell Shattering Arrow is effectively Heavy Dust Storm. That's, I think, one of the things Punk fears the most. But, of course, this doesn't mean that shields are down. Like, there's just... I can't activate it as a response, right? You can. No, you totally can. Well, yeah, you totally can. It would do 500 whole damage. I thought it tributed itself as cost. Actually, Eccentric does not, and it's a big deal. Eccentric not triggering itself for cost is an absolute... Oh, it's the worst. Is kind of punk rock Lee to take 500 damage, something completely meaningless, for allowing Sino to allow him to perform a game-winning action. Actually, I don't think that was game-winning. I think he had it even without the Volflame. Right? Yeah, he did. Never mind. Neither of them mattered. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really a game about meaningless concessions to your opponent. So I got this pizza square, because theoretically I won't eat all of it, if like I have to chew through like 15 squares to do so. But the downside to square pizza is that in the middle, you've got all these pieces with no edges. And that's something I can't abide. I consider myself a progressive individual. This is odd. Can I use a Ghost Ogre on a Pendulum summon? No. Although, this shows that Sino has effectively punted this game. If he had Ghost Ogred the Archfiend Eccentric, and then activated Spell Shattering Arrow when Punk set scales, I mean, the game would likely have been over. Oh, that's extremely upsetting. There's not a ton of really good Ghost Ogre targets in Pendulum. I mean, there's a fair amount. You want to be hitting all the metal foes, but none really as good as Eccentric, especially if that Eccentric is targeting Spell Shattering Arrow of all things. This is cute. Punk really doesn't want to commit a whole lot here. Because if there's a said Mirror Force, Bayo Baboon will trigger, and that's kind of what he wants. I think here he's likely thinking about if he wants to go into Lanphalinkus. I don't think there's a particularly good or compelling reason to do so. I mean, 1200 isn't, like, much bigger than anything else. Also, hold up. Oh, 0. Great. It would just get the Witch of the Black Forest search now, as opposed to next turn. It looks like he is doing that. It runs the risk of popping a Torrential. But of course, if you're only using Lanphalinkus, you still have a summon floating, and a Torrential would just proc a couple of Bayo Baboons as well, which are great blockers. Wow, yeah, I am really feeling for Sino here. This is really painful. Had he just Ghost Ogred that... Oh, that stinky dinky. He could have pulled this one off. Like, look at the remainder of the hand. If this was in the extra deck, and these two were in the extra deck, this doesn't do anything. Like, Bayo Baboon, Witch of the Black Forest doesn't do anything at all. It's just like a very slow setup tool. And in any slow setup game, Sino's like 18-piece advantage engine is probably allowing him to climb ahead. What do you think that set card is? I think it's very likely that it's like a Metal Foes card. Like, there's no Metal Foes on the field, which makes me think that, you know, that's a compelling reason you would keep it set. Because you can't proc it. Alright, here's Straight So. Ugh, I don't want to play Negates. Do I want to play Negates or Spatial Contortions? I could cut a Relic. I could cut a Relic and play 2 Spatial Contortion. Then I'm boarding into 7 removal spells. That seems terrible. Alternatively, against Control, I have 3 Spell Pierce and like nothing else. Although that's also against combo. I think the card I'm actually hurting for is Negate. So we're cutting either a Dismember or a Relic, and since Dismember is basically the only other way we have of dealing with monsters, I guess it's a Relic. Cutting a Relic, that's so painful. But I'll do what I have to. So it looks like that was a pretty middling turn from Sino. You can just barely make out JoJo Part 4 in the background. My roommate has just started it. I suffered through 3 with him. 3 is... Oh, man. I remembered it being bad, but upon rewatch, it was eons worse than I remembered. It was like an order of magnitude worse. It's awful. Like, all of JoJo is written for 12-year-olds, of course. But, like, Part 3 is really written for 12-year-olds. And not like cool ones either who play Trinity, if any of you 12-year-olds are out here. Okay, that's a big summon. So Ether the Empower... Oh! Oh my goodness. Wow. That's amazing. Oh, do you get Black Fang, actually? I suppose you do. Does he have a target? Oh, Wee Witch. Well, we can Google that real fast. Yep. As expected. You don't have to control it. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. So that's why Punk didn't search Witch. Yeah. Yep. Really needed that low scale. And had Witch in the opener. So that was a sweet Solemn warning, first of all. And really kind of heads up play from Sino for baiting it for so long. Having said that, is he dead here? Like, I really like this play, and I like being patient with it, but he might just be toast. Like, I don't know what this remaining card is in Punk's hand, but if he goes to battle phase, attacks with Wee Witch Apprentice, and then attacks with Bayo Baboon, that's what? 1,800 at Sino. Sino's at 1,000. Punk can close it out with any manner of garbage. Oh, wow. Oh, whoa. Wow. Oh, 2 Bayo. That's frustrating. And we did actually know about that card, so probably worth playing around. Yikes. Wow. Oof. So the reason Punk did that, of course, is because there is a Honesty Neos in the hand, but... Oh, God. This is... I think I would have just procced it and taken the hit. Crashed a Wee Witch's Apprentice in, taken 2,400, and then, like, added one of these Pendulum Dinguses back to hand. You could have normal summoned, like, the Archfiend Eccentric or something. I mean... Woof. This was known information. At this point, oh man. This set card's going to have to be something miraculous. I mean, the scales are up, but outside of... Thunder Dragon, I can't think of a really great rip off the top of Punk's deck. Sky Iris is pretty good, I guess. It's okay. It's not even great. It's pretty good. And Sino with 2 turns to set up is a nightmare. Like, Sino with the ability to, like, get through a couple of Spyral Resort activations or work up the hero chain for 2 turns, I mean, that's just game-endingly powerful. However, it is also possible that his hand's a bunch of trash. Like, think of this hand. Timebreaker does not protect scales. That is right. So think of this hand. It's a Piece of Hate, an Honesty Neos. Oh, God. Well, that is a big problem. Is this lethal? This is 29 plus 25 is 54. It is not, which is good. But it's a lot of damage. The question about scales makes me feel like he is going to attempt to go into something like Tornado Dragon, which would probably close out the game, in my opinion. Oh, wow, he's firing it off now. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What a crazy jerk. I mean, the only thing this stops is if this card is Solemn Warning. But if it is, wow, what a payoff. As expected. So, if the set card is bottomless? I don't know. It's potentially he's like Think on Summon to get him to hit the set card. Yeah. So if Sino hits the set card, Punk could still do it. The set card's got to be really good. Let's see it. It's got to be Lost Wind, basically. Let's see Lost Wind. Oh, boy. Let's see what he's adding. Not Honesty. Do not add Honesty. Oh, no. All right. Trying to think what the best draw on Punk's deck is. The set card is a Metal Foe card, and the top of the deck is a Metal Foe. Yeah, that doesn't do it, though. Purple Poison maybe does it? Just like set Purple Poison pass. That might do it. Yeah, I really can't think of really anything else. Sart is good, but unfortunately is going to get a card that will immediately die to Tornado Dragon. Like, the single solitary punish is if it's a Metal Foe and the set card is Metal Foe's counter that Punk has saved forever. So by not flipping over the set card, he could make... Oh, man. Oh, and that's going to be it. Wow. What was the face down? Yep, a Metal Foe card. As expected. Wow. Extremely painful. Oof. I was rooting for Punk in this one. And Sino's hand was not particularly great, but it was enough. Really, Armageddon Knights sending Shadow Mist caused this entire chain of events to occur. Like, that's insane. It feels a lot like Orchist, not in combo potential, but insofar as if you draw exactly one of the heroes, you net about 4 cards over the course of 2 turns. I thought it was the Metal Foe's continuous one. Yeah. The frustrating part is the only world in which Punk gets to win this game is where Sino gets trigger happy and hits this set card, but he's playing against a deck where you are actively discouraged from doing so. Too bad Orc Bard is OP. It is not OP. It is overpowered. This is a personal attack on the broadcaster. Who's that? Yes. Oh, stop. The personal attack on me was when you made me remake my meme where I predicted Punk would win. Ban Galati. Thank you. And I'll leave you with that. Ban Galati. Let's check the dash. Yeah, you didn't have to control Black Fang or anything, so it's fine. Yep. Woof. Ban Mono. See ya. I was listening to Megalovania during our match. That is classic Sino. Alright, let's see where the dash is. We're at the end, so I will stop streaming, and hopefully it'll get this last minute.